Hey, Garage Gym athletes, before we get to the show, I wanted to check to see if you knew that we are on YouTube. We've been on the platform for a while, but only more recently started to get serious about some video content. So while the podcast will meet most of your needs, some things simply need a visual explanation. So if you want more on concurrent training, programming, garage gyms, head over to YouTube, search Garage Gym Athlete, and subscribe to the channel. I look forward to connecting with you on another platform. All right, let's get to the show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. We are back with another athlete interview, and joining me again is Ashley, and who we are interviewing today, or just having a casual chat with, is Amy Lyman. How's it going, Amy?
Good.
Cool. Yeah. So right off the bat, we're just going to throw it on to you. So let us know who you are, what you do, how you train, where you train, etc., whatever you want to include.
All right. So my name is Amy Lyman. I live in Utah in a kind of rural area. It's Tooele County. Anyway, I am a stay-at-home mom. I have 6 kids. 3 of them are older. They've moved out, and I still have a 15, 13, and 11-year-old at home. But yeah, we have grandbaby number 1 on the way this spring. So
Aww.
I don't feel like I'm that old, but apparently I am. Then in addition to that, I'm a captain with our volunteer fire department here in the area. Been doing that for about 5 years. I train here in my garage. Currently on H2K. I started out doing the shred program, but once I found the hard to kill track, I just kind of fell in love with that. It was totally up my alley, and I've just kind of stuck with it, and I've loved it. Currently doing the 300.3 challenge, doing really well with that. And Thursdays, I'm also doing the EO3 5K the group that's doing that for the year.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's been kind of fun. The other guys in that group, they are beasts.
Well, Mark Bishop is one of them. So
yeah, they're pretty awesome. I just am kind of enjoying like being part of that group and just watching them kill it. So yeah, and then on Sundays I usually do a 50-minute zone 2 run. So yeah, that's kind of what I do.
So how long have you been on Hard to Kill?
I joined GGA back in probably April of 2019. So I did a couple of cycles of shred, and then I've been on Hard to Kill ever since then.
Nice. Yeah. There's so much variety on it. I mean, it's pretty easy for people to get. That's why the whole Hard to Kill for life comes into play.
Right.
So how do you like training in your garage?
I love it. Yeah. I did CrossFit for a couple years. And I just kind of knew that wasn't really doing it for me program wise. Like I'd get really frustrated that I just wasn't really ever improving and everything because it was so random, right? And I went and got my personal trainer cert just because I wanted to learn more. I knew that I enjoyed fitness and went and did that, and then just decided I was just gonna kind of do my own thing and set up my own garage, and been loving it ever since.
That's what your setup like.
I have my barbell, my back with the pull-up bar, back squat, rack, a rower, treadmill, and then I just have I have a Bowflex adjustable dumbbells. I have quite a few kettlebells, dumbbells. Yeah, I just kind of just add on to it.
I see the rope behind you.
Yeah, I got nice tall
ceilings.
You
got high ceilings and a tire. I think you're leaving some stuff out here.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Like, yeah, I have a good time in here. It's my space. So
yeah,
nice.
You have a ton of space.
Yeah, it's nice.
Do you have to when you said you're volunteering for firefighting, do you have to do 24-hour shifts when you do that?
So the way it works is if you're home and you're around, you're on call. Okay. So it's basically 20, like especially being a stay-at-home mom, I'm generally around, and so I respond to almost all the calls.
Wow.
Which it can be daunting just because like you'd never go to bed at night thinking, I mean, you don't, because you don't know, right? Like
Right.
you don't ever, it seems like it's always when I go to bed and I'm like, man, I am so tired tonight. Like I'm just like dead tired. And then my husband will be like, well, you're getting a page tonight. So, I mean, that's just generally how it works. So if we're around, we go. There's not very many of us, and
Okay,
so
so there's
yeah.
no like switching up your workout schedule to train there or anything ever, or
No, we're not ever at the station. Like we just respond
Okay.
from our homes. We carry pagers, and when the pager goes off, we head to the truck. So
Cool. Yeah.
Since you're volunteer, like I actually don't know how this works. Since you're volunteer, is it just kind of like who wants to respond can respond, and you just choose to all the time, or are you committed to respond every time?
no, it's volunteer. So
Hmm.
there's plenty of people who don't respond, and full well they're around. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's just like, are you gonna do your job or you're not? Like So yeah, it's just up to you. Nobody's forcing you to do anything. Of course, if you want to stay in good standing with the department, you need to run, a certain percentage of calls, and but
Have you seen like real life application with your training to your volunteer work?
oh yeah, yeah. um, Especially, I made a post about this on the group not too long ago, but 9 out of 10 fire calls, I'm the only female on the fire ground. There's just not a lot of women around that. I mean, there's a few on the departments here and there, but they don't respond. They respond more on the medical side than the fire side.
Hmm.
And so, like, that's been a real big thing for me, is just to not feel like I'm a liability, right? Like, if I'm going to do the job, I want to do it well. And I want the guys to know that they can count on me to do the job well, and to trust that I can hack it,
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's one reason why I train the way that I do. Like I'm very, very consistent with my training, just because I don't want to be a liability, right? I don't want to be that weak link.
Nice.
And that is like instant application about a lot of what we have and preach. For one, killing comfort because of you have your regular training day, all of your taking care of your kids, doing regular life stuff, and then like you said, you might go to bed and then have to go on call for a couple hours or respond to something, and then waking up and doing it again and being able to physically go through all of that with the demands of the job and training and just everything. That's crazy and definitely very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
So you said Thursdays you're doing the EO3 5K, right?
Hmm.
So what about Are you still doing Meet Yourself Saturdays on top of that?
Yes.
Wow.
Damn.
Okay. So you're like,
I'm just
she's
yeah.
pulling a Jerred. She's getting like 7 training days, like in a
Like,
row.
the Sunday, I wasn't training on Sundays, but what I was seeing was that I wasn't getting my movement in. Like I was just like,
Mhm.
so I just started getting up and just doing, the zone 2, taking my dog out, and it's a good recovery for me, right? Like it's
Right.
gets my movement in, just keeps me, I don't know, it helps my mental state. It just helps everything all the way around.
Yeah, it's a good active
I
recovery day.
think she might be giving Marco a run for his money.
Nah,
Like,
I
man.
don't think I don't think so.
I mean, he's not on call, but yeah, he is a breed of his own.
Mm.
Yeah.
um, so what are some of your training goals? Oh, actually, does any of your kids train with you? I mean, they're all getting kind of older through high school and even older than that.
Yeah, so my 15-year-old, he does soccer, and he's had some injuries recently, which has been sad to watch. He broke his humerus twice in the
Yikes.
8th grade. And then he just he played high school, his first year of high school ball, and he tore his meniscus at the end of the season. So he had to go in and have surgery for that. So right now he's been trying to get back into it. And so I've been like preaching to him. I'm like, you just like let me help you. Like just, and so we've been getting up and training in the mornings, and he's been doing it. He's been getting up early before school, and
Good.
we've been going through stuff. He's trying to get back into shape, and so he can get back on the field, and it's been great. I also had one of the firefighters. He's probably a good 10 years younger than me, and he's not in bad shape, but he's trying to go career firefighter, and he came to me and asked me to help him get in shape. So he comes
Yes.
over too. So I'm out there with my son and this other friend.
Show them
Oh.
young bucks what it's like, man.
I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, you want this old lady to show me what to do?
Yeah, that's a great confidence booster right there.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's been
Yeah.
good.
Son needs to get on that weightlifting program to work on that bone density.
Ooh.
I know, right? Like he's put together all wrong. I'm like, I'm sorry, kid.
It's like every soccer player's worst nightmare.
It's
Yeah,
been,
lower
yeah, I
extremity
feel so
injuries.
bad for him.
Dang, yeah. Well, keep doing that. So what are some of your training goals right now?
Well, I'm
Besides
just,
just
working.
continuing.
Yeah, like I have on my board, I have my whiteboard, and it just says stronger, stronger, faster, faster. And that's really, I don't know, I just love the performance side of it. I always have. I just am always kind of driven to see what I can do, right? Like, I don't know. And people think I'm a little crazy, but it just drives me. I just like to see what I can do. Um, my kind of a recent goal that I had was trying to get the sub 7 mile run, and I did that. Um, it's probably been a couple months ago. I finally hit that, which was super exciting for me because I was
That's awesome.
really close for a while.
Yeah, I bet that
So,
EF through 5K helps for that 800
yep,
meter repeats.
yep, for sure.
So let's go way back in this. What were you doing before you were training your garage and garage? I mean, maybe you mentioned CrossFit, but what else was part of your fitness journey and even pre fire department?
So I grew up on a farm. I think that's kind of where it all started, right? Like,
Always
I just
moving.
I just always have. I mean, I've always liked hard work. I like having a job to do and getting it done. Um, I wish my kids. It's a lot harder to teach that to kids when you don't live on a farm. But so I've always loved being strong and being able to do work. Um, then I got married. I started having kids, and so I spent all of my 20s with babies. Like, and I kind of lost that for a while. Um, I was just trying to keep up with everything that was going on with having six little kids at home, between all under 10. And so in my 30s, like, well, yeah, like I had my youngest when I was 30. So after that, I lost the baby weight, and I was just like, time to focus on myself a little bit more. And I just kind of got back into it, really realized that fitness was something that I really enjoyed. And that's when I joined the CrossFit and started kind of doing that. But yeah, it's just always been something that I've enjoyed. I bought a Bowflex like long time ago, like right after we were first married. I was like all into
When
the
Chuck, when
Bowflex.
Chuck Norris was still doing the promos.
So yeah, but yeah, it's just been something that I've always kind of enjoyed, just in different forms, I guess. But
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I just think it's a lot easier to keep moving if you're to stay moving if you've already been moving. So like your work capacity and workouts and stuff is very very tremendous and impressive. But you've definitely been at it for a while, and like you didn't just decide one day to train 7 days a week and wake up in the middle of the night to do stuff.
that's
But
true.
still, like absolutely fantastic that you've kept with it, and doesn't seem like you're slowing down either.
Mm-mm.
Not yet. I got a few more good years.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, you still got to get all your kids out of the house
That's right. We're only halfway there.
yeah. All right, so let's jump into some of these other questions I'm really curious about. So, what's the hardest workout you've ever done?
So Probably the hardest workout that I've ever done is right after I got on the department. I was new. I had started like the sort of the training, the Fire 1, Fire 2 training, but we weren't very far into it. And there was the state academy puts on this training every year, and so I was able to go down to that. Like lots of firefighters across the state all go down there, and you can sign up for classes and take these classes. Well, um, I I was pretty in shape. I wanted to do some physical classes, so I signed up for some of the more physical ones. One of them was a search and rescue class, and I'll tell you what, that gave me a run for my money. The last drill was we were full turnout on air, with the masks and on the SCBAs, and then you have to black your mask out, so you turn the Nomex hood around so you can't see.
I'm out.
And you have a partner, and you have to go through this obstacle course, and you're following the sound. You can hear somewhere in that obstacle course is a mannequin, a weighted mannequin, with simulating a downed firefighter. So he's got a pass device, so you can hear the beeping, right? And you're following his hose line to him. So you've got to go through this obstacle course, which includes like a box with like ropes strung through it that are going to hang you up. And like, anyway, get to the mannequin, and then you have to pull him back through the course, and hopefully before you run out of air, right? And so by the time we were done, like our low air alarms were ringing, and like, I mean, just you're trying to breathe and not just like, you're like, hey, slow down, I'm gonna breathe through all my air. But yeah, that was definitely a realization of just that my lack of preparation can kill somebody, right? Like what I'm training for, like I'd done hard workouts before, but you can always tap out, right? Like, I mean,
Right.
don't finish the workout, but if you're in that situation that you're training for, and you're trying to get somebody out, or you're trying to get one of your crew out, and you can't hack it, like, I mean, you're gonna die, right? They're gonna die. Ultimately, that's the only other option. Like either finish or you're done. So that was a big realization for me, just kind of getting into the fire service, was like, okay, time to step it up, right? Like, don't be that liability.
That's wild. Yeah. Um, I've never done any sort of like training with a gas mask or that sort of elevation breather or anything. Just being on active duty, we had exercises where we had to do stimulate chemical attacks, and you have to wear a gas mask for like long periods of time and hours. But I'm just like sitting around waiting for the alarms to go off, and I'm just like, sitting there. So like, I don't have to do heavy breathing. I just have to sit there. But even after a while, like some people after 10, 20 minutes, they just breathing, because you don't really breathe normally. You have to like breathe so much more deliberately. But doing that on top of an obstacle course, dragging something, your adrenaline going, blind, like that's intense. That's crazy. So like I could see why that would be so ridiculously hard and stressful. Like it probably wasn't even just like one of those aspects by itself is fine, but when you put it all together, is that's wild. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty fun training, but yeah, it definitely, it kicked my butt. Like I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That was hard.
Yeah. You take your gear off. I'm sure it's all very heavy and sweaty and just like,
Oh yeah,
oh,
you're
God.
just drenched. Like you're just drenched.
Yeah. Um, all right. In your opinion, what's the best activity for building mental toughness?
So, I love this question because it's something that I'm pretty passionate about. Uh, it's what brought me to GGA. Was one of the Meet Yourself Saturdays. I think it was the Iron Mile I stumbled across, and I just kind of started reading the whole philosophy behind Garage Gym Athlete, and I was just like hooked. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. But for me, I think struggle. That's the key for me. Is sometimes you have to be really honest with yourself, but sometimes struggle means, do I need to back off my training because I'm injured, and I need to I need to go a little easier. For me, that's harder than just going intense all the time, right? Like sometimes you do need to back off. And sometimes it's mentally hard, right? To be like, hey, slow down a little bit. Don't wear yourself out. On the flip side, it's like, do you tend to pick up a lighter weight than you should? Do you need to go a little heavier? Do you avoid the double unders because you can't do double unders? But if you're never gonna struggle to learn them, you're never gonna learn them. So I think it's just all about just always finding ways to challenge yourself. Like, don't always just do what you're good at. Try some things that you suck at, and then be humble enough to just suck until you get good at it. Like, it's okay to not be the best at something. Like my son, who has injured his knee, he's getting back into playing ball, and they're running hill sprints, and he's like, I don't want to go to practice because they're gonna run hill sprints. And he's like, but then he's like, well, it's not the hill sprints that he's worried about. It's because he's slower than everybody else, And I'm like, it's okay to be slow. Be slow, but do them. That's how you're gonna get faster again. You're not gonna get faster if you don't do them. So who cares if you're the slowest? So I just think if you're struggling with something, then that means you're still fighting. You haven't given up, and you're still working. And so keep going. Just struggle.
Yeah.
Might call this episode "Be Humble to Suck."
All I kept thinking about was hill sprints in Utah are probably way different than what they were down in Texas.
Yeah, well, yeah. Do you have hills in town? Well, according to Kyle, you have some great. I don't know how your hill perception is. Actually,
we have lots of mountains. Like we have lots of mountains here.
Yeah, if anything, you should be like, all right, let's go outside hill sprints now. If you don't want to do them at practice.
Elevation, I'm like, no.
Yeah, elevations. That's no joke. Yeah, it's definitely the struggle thing is great because it's a you want to struggle physically and mentally because that's how you build. But that's also like, don't be stupid to struggle. Don't just like hurt yourself and struggle. So that's definitely a great way to put it. I like that.
Yeah, it's all about balance. You have to balance it, but you have to be honest with yourself. Like, don't sell yourself short.
If you could only have one piece of equipment to train with for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I would probably pick the barbell. There's so many other. I mean, I can run, I can do calisthenics, but adding that barbell in is how you get. I love the barbell. I love to lift heavy, and it just makes it a lot easier if you have that. I mean, there's other ways you can do it, but that's probably what I'd pick.
I almost would have picked I almost would have guessed sandbag. I feel like a lot of responders and firefighters would pick sandbags because
like dragging people out or something.
Yeah. Just the variety, the variants.
Yeah, there's lots of things you can do.
Yeah. All right. So, what's your best advice for garage gym athletes?
So I think my best advice is don't neglect your recovery. Recovery is super important, and I think the best way to do that is to just do those EO3 elements every day. They're there for a reason, and I think a lot of time we just don't even look at them. So for me, I go through them every single day, and I might not hit them all every day, which I probably don't hit them all every day, but I'm still going through that checklist, and I'm accountable for them, right? Like, I'm just like, okay, I didn't do that, make sure I do that tomorrow. So I think as long as you're really just paying attention to them and going through them every day, they just stay on the forefront of your mind, right?
I mean, as somebody who probably absolutely needs to recover for doing everything you do, then yeah, definitely everybody should definitely listen to that part.
Yeah, it's big. Recovery is big.
Yeah. Ashley, you have anything else?
No, this was fun.
Cool. Yeah, definitely awesome chatting with you, Amy. Man, so much that I'm sure people are gonna like to hear, and just the impressive nature of everything that you do. And I didn't realize. I also didn't realize that the weekly EO3 5K group or people was so big. You guys have been kind of silent. Those Murphers out there always post everything what they do for Murph, but the 5K people are just like, nah, that's cool. We're just gonna go over here and not talk about it. But that's awesome. Well, yeah, awesome chatting with you. Hopefully we can get you on again in the future to see how things are going. But thank you so much for being a great guest.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm.
For listening to the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. If you want to learn more, go to garagegymathlete.com. You can learn about our training. Let us send you a copy of our book, The Garage Gym Athlete, or you can even get featured on the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. Thanks for listening.